Are you interested in being a better husband, a better father, and a better man at work? You are in the right place. Welcome to Rock Solid Men, where we're becoming better men led by the God who created us. I'm Chad Starfelt, and I'm your host. Join me for a weekly dose of truth as we seek to become better men of God. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Rock Solid Men, where we're becoming better husbands, fathers, and workers led by the God who created us. Today we're talking about what men need to know about women. Not that I am an expert, that's for sure, but I certainly have been married for 24 years, have two daughters. One is 20 and one is 14. So I'm still learning about women and working on that. So I'm going to share with you a few things to remember as we think about what we should remember regarding women, and then 4 top needs of women as we speak today about what men need to know about women. The first main thing I think we need to remember is that men and women think differently. This is an important thing to remember as we think about how men and women are different, and they do not think like us. So here's a few examples that might be going on in your head versus your wife's head. You're about to get ready to go out for an event, something like that, and you're thinking what looks decent and is comfortable. Your wife is thinking, which outfit will my friends like the most? Right? We completely think differently about this topic. Or here's another one. You're sitting at the soccer game or baseball game watching your son play, and you're thinking, why isn't my son running for the ball? And you really are getting frustrated and wish he would be more aggressive. And your wife is thinking, I sure hope Tommy doesn't feel bad after the game, right? We're just thinking completely different things. Or maybe this other way we think differently. What do I need to get done this weekend? That may be what you're thinking for the weekend, and your wife is thinking more, what do the kids need me for this weekend? Now, I know there's always danger in generalizations, and so I encourage you to take these with a grain of salt. But there is a reason John Gray wrote the book, Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. Real men know that women are different, and they work at appreciating the differences. We know they're different, they think different, they process things differently than we do, and we don't expect them to be like us. She's a woman, she's not a man. She feels differently than you, she acts differently than you, she has different priorities than you do, and we need to accept and love them for who they are. So, here's an example. Last night I'm at my daughter's volleyball game, and she says, "Can I ride home with Mrs. Garrett?" And I'm like, "Why? What's the deal? You don't want to ride home with me?" And she just rolls her eyes at me, and later I realized it's just about the relationships. She wants to hang out with her friend that many more minutes in the car ride home. They think differently, they have different priorities than we do. So men and women think differently. Number 2, women are focused on relationships. Men are focused on success or getting the task done. And that illustration about my daughter and the volleyball game is a good illustration of that, how they focus on relationships and how they think differently. But when guys, we need encouragement, we need a lifting up, we just want a pat on the back from the other guys, or an encouragement, well done, from something we've done recently. But when women need encouragement, they need a hug, they need someone to listen to them, right? Here's another example of how this plays out. Men are focused on getting the task done. Women are focused on the relationships.
For years and years and years, we got a real live tree for Christmas. And this was always a very big deal because Sean wanted it to be a family deal. My wife, Sean, wanted it to be something we do together. It was a big family outing, and we would go from store to store or from tree lot to tree lot and try to find the best tree for the cheapest price. And it was a together thing. And I just wanted to get it done, get it put up, and get it decorated and have it off my list. So it all was okay, except for my usually frustration, until the kids started really agreeing with me. The older they got, the bigger they got, the more they were more about, I don't want to go running around from store to store with mom and dad getting frustrated with each other about the Christmas tree. I would rather have dad just go pick it out. So that's what I do. Now, for the last few years, I go get the tree myself, and Sean mourns that we don't all do it together anymore. Women are focused on the process, on the relationship, and men are focused on the task. So men, we want company, we want friends around, we like to do things together. One person, a guy, told me once, and I think this is so true, men build relationships side by side, women build relationships face to face. I think that is so true. Women like to meet together and like to have coffee together and go out to lunch together, and certainly men do some of that as well, but men love to build relationships side by side, being on a sports team together, playing basketball together, sitting on the bench together, watching their kids play sports, working on a project, a home, an addition, something together that they're doing together. And so that really is a good example of how it plays out. Women want emotional connection and relationships, and men a lot of times just need, hey, he's similar to me, and that's good for me. For women, it hasn't been a good time if they haven't had a good laugh or a good cry, and I think that is so very true. Another thing you need to know about women is their personalities matter. How they process things, how they orient their lives. So I encourage you as a couple to take something like the Myers-Briggs. That is a great personality test that will help you understand your spouse, your girlfriend, in a better way. Or another really good test is the 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. This is another little quiz that helps you know how your spouse receives love the best. Do they appreciate being loved by acts of service? Do they appreciate being loved by words of affirmation or by quality time or physical touch? All of us have different love languages, ways we feel loved the most. And if you have not taken the 5 love languages, that is another way to study your wife, help to get to know who they are, how they feel loved the most, and gain more success for you in your relationship. Okay, now I want to share with you 4 top needs women have that we need to know about. And when we know these things, we will be more successful in our relationship with them. The number one, first, or at least the first one I have for you, is security. Women need financial and relationship security. And I don't think all men really realize how critical, how important this is for their wife. If you're struggling in your job, if you're bouncing from one job to the next, if you're getting fired often or continuing to lose important spots at work, they're going to worry. If they're going to feel like they need to be the main financial income, if there's struggles financially, and yes, even if you've lost your job and if you're having a hard time finding a new job, obviously it's very stressful for you as well, but it's immensely impactful on your wife and your relationship. Financial security is important to them. And if it's not coming from you, they're going to find another place for it to come from, either from their own occupation or, unfortunately, sometimes from another man in their life, which obviously we don't want, right? So security financially and security relationally. They need you to be safe. They need you to be someone they can confide in. They need you to be someone they can open up about and not explode at them. And so to be a safe person to talk to is really critical for your wife. Remind her of your love for her and your care for her. Say to her on occasion, I love you and I will never, ever leave you. That kind of guarantee that you are there forever. You're not threatening divorce. You're not threatening separation. That goes a very long way. When husbands do threaten divorce, or spouses, wives as well, but when husbands threaten divorce, when husbands threaten to leave or share ultimatums, it is not good for the relationship. It does not help the relationship. And at times, it actually backfires. I have seen that happen where he's threatening divorce, he's threatening moving out, and all of a sudden, she does it because she is fed up with his lack of security, with his lack of consistency in the relationship. So, 4 top needs of a woman, security being one. 2, conversational companionship, that relational aspect, those conversations with each other. One speaker I heard talk about couch time, that every single day, it doesn't have to literally be couch time, but 15 minutes together talking about your day. It could be on the couch after dinner where you tell the kids, leave us alone. It can just be as you come in the door and you're making dinner or she's making dinner, to spend that time, at least 15 minutes. How was your day? Tell me how you feel. Tell me what went on. That is critical for your relationship. And if you're not talking about your day on a regular basis, what went well, what didn't go well, she's not going to feel that kind of conversational companionship. A monthly date is a great thing to do, at least monthly, going out. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be extravagant. Going out and sharing time together. Men think intimacy is spelled S-E-X, right? That's how we spell intimacy. Women spell intimacy T-A-L-K, talk. And that is so important. And I'll just be frank with you that the talk has to come long before the sex for her as well, if you're going to get any of that. So don't deprive her of those conversations that mean a lot to your wife. Your wife hears the word intimacy and she thinks emotional connection. She thinks communication. She wants a marriage that has vulnerability and you're talking about your inner thoughts and your feelings and your aspirations and your goals. She wants to be listened to. She wants to know that she's understood, that her heart has been heard. She wants attention and affection. And that's not all bad. We desire that as well. And actually, us as men we find value in that as well if we can slow ourselves down enough to focus on those kinds of things and away from the tasks. So, 4 things women need: security, conversational companionship. Number 3 is to be valued, to be appreciated, to know what they do matters to you. Whatever she does, whether it's making an income, whether it's doing the laundry or doing the dishes, whether it's taking care of the kids, whatever she is doing, whatever ways she's contributing, and I'm not saying it's only the women that need to do those things. She might be mowing the lawn. She might be getting the oil changed. She might be putting the shelf up on the wall. I don't know what your wife is good at, but whatever she is doing, however she's contributing to the relationship, encourage her and thank her. I can't tell you how many times I've said to couples who are in my office who are struggling, I've said, you both are starving for affirmation. You're starving for encouragement from each other. I think a lot of Americans are. People thrive on encouragement and being thanked and being valued. So if you want a great relationship with your girlfriend, with your wife, and just so you know, I'm saying girlfriend because some of you might not be married, not that are listening, not that some of you have a wife and a girlfriend. That is a no-no. But, you're sharing what is important. You're encouraging her. You're asking her about big decisions. You're asking her about opinions she might have about something you're thinking about. Don't use her. Don't take her for granted. For some of us men, gift giving is not our love language. It's not something we love to do. It's not something we value. So we begrudgingly get them a card for their birthday or for their anniversary. Do what you can. Do something great. Do something different. It's okay. You don't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be something where you put in tons of time, but just help them know they are valued and they are important. You can reflect God's love for her and your love for her by encouraging her, standing with her, complimenting her, respecting her opinion, talking with her, listening, spending time with her. I've always had high respect for Sean, my wife. I ask her opinion about a lot of different things, and I think, and she does of me as well, and it goes a long way to build our relationship. So, 4 top needs of a woman: security, conversational companionship, to feel valued or appreciated. And number 4, this may sound very similar, but it is a little different: to feel treasured. Those hugs matter to her. Those little surprises where you buy her something she loves, her favorite candy bar, her favorite gum, those sort of little things that you treasure her, that you leave sitting out for her on a night or a day that she has sleeps in, and you make her coffee for her because you treasure her, you value her. To keep the bounce in your step, give her little doses of encouragement. Tell her she's your best friend. Tell her she's the best wife ever. Give her some space when she needs it and let her do things that she loves and she values. Tell her thank you. Encourage her in front of other people, in front of her friends, in front of, couple friends. That goes a long way when you value her, when you treasure her, and you speak well of her in front of other people. Friendship is something that's heart to heart. A relationship is heart to heart through communication, through that kind of good old togetherness. and encouraging each other. So she needs you to work hard at your marriage, to laugh together, to play together, to stay the course, and know that you're in it for the long haul. And when you do, it will pay off. As I want to kind of wrap up, I want to highlight a certain Bible verse, 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 7. And Peter says here, husbands, in the same way, be considerate as you live with your wives, and treat them with respect as the weaker partner, as heirs with you of the gracious gift of life, so that nothing will hinder your prayers. So why does Peter say they are the weaker partner? There's lots of different teaching on this and commentaries that really, most of them focus that simply, I think Peter was saying, and most scholars say, Peter was focusing simply that women are generally less physically strong. It doesn't mean they're weaker intellectually. It doesn't mean they're weaker in their relationships or in work or raising kids, obviously, or lots of different ways, but simply just physically. So don't intimidate her. Don't yell at her. Don't be gruff and demeaning and degrading to her. And even physically, I used to get frustrated when Sean couldn't carry a piano like me, or Sean couldn't carry a couch like me. And honestly, I was just kind of selfish and self-centered, and I just wanted, again, to get the task done instead of acknowledging, okay, she's not as strong as me. She's the weaker partner only in the sense of physically. But it says, be considerate. Words matter. Man, so many couples I've been with where their words are so damaging. They are so hurtful. Do not swear at each other. Do not call each other hurtful names. Scripture says, be considerate as you live with your wife. And then it says, treat them with respect, right? We want respect. I think most men, if they don't feel respected by their boss, their coworkers, many times they switch jobs. And we wives want respect as well. If your wife doesn't do a great job of respecting you, do not turn around and be disrespectful back. That is not going to be helpful. You shower her with respect. You work to show respect to her. You work to shower her with your love and your affection and your care and your listening ear, and you will see how that respect will come. That respect you desire will come when you show her the kind of respect that she deserves. And then Peter ends with, so that nothing will hinder your prayers. When we are hurtful to our wife, when we are destructive to our wife, when we don't treat our wife well, it's actually hurtful to our prayers. It's actually hurtful to our relationship with God. So we want to be careful about that and think about how it affects our relationship with God by loving our wife. So just a little review from today. A few things to know about women is men and women think differently. Women are focused on relationships. Men are focused on success or tasks. To know your wife's personality and how she receives love. So you might want to take the Myers-Briggs test online and or the 5 love languages test. Those are very helpful tools. And then 4 top needs of a woman: security, conversational companionship, to feel valued or appreciated, and to feel treasured. And Peter reminds us in chapter 3, verse 7, husbands, in the same way be considerate as you live with your wives, and treat them with respect as the weaker partner, as heirs with you of the gracious gift of life, so that nothing will hinder your prayers. Thanks so much for listening. Please subscribe and comment. Join us on Facebook at Rock Solid Men on Facebook, and I encourage you to share this episode with another guy who might need encouragement in his walk. And you might ask your wife tonight, what's the number one thing you want me to know about you? If we're talking about things we need to know about women, why don't we just come out and ask our wife that exact question? I value your feedback. Let me know any topics you would love covered in future episodes. You can send me an email and your thoughts and your feedback at rockssolidmen today@gmail.com. If you listen on iTunes, I especially encourage you to subscribe or comment. Many other platforms don't have that ability to subscribe or comment, but iTunes definitely does, and it makes a tremendous amount of difference when you do exactly that. So may God rich you as you seek to be a rock solid man. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.